Welcome back to Crime Chronicles, my fellow investigators. You're in the right corner of YouTube and you're digging for everything crime related and many more. In today's video, we're gonna explore one of the most interesting topics when it comes to the criminal world. What makes a crime more interesting to a student investigator than the brain behind the crime? So, in this video, we're telling you the stories of 3 infamous criminal masterminds and their eventual downfall. Starting from Professor James Moriarty, one of the most infamous criminal masterminds in fiction, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in his world-famous book series Sherlock Holmes. Criminal masterminds have always been a hot topic that would never not be interesting. Such brains behind crimes are not just fictional. There have been several criminals marked as names under the category criminal mastermind throughout history. Some of them used their genius minds to plan and orchestrate legendary robberies, while some ruled over gangs, terrorizing locals, and some went far too evil with their brains. However their stories went, there's much to learn from them when you try to learn how to solve crime. Let's get to know about some of these criminal masterminds. The first one on our list is Leonardo Notarbartolo, a name that got dubbed infamous quite recently in the early 2000s. He's the mastermind behind the Antwerp diamond heist, which is given the title Heist of the Century. The robbery took place at the Antwerp Diamond Center in Antwerp, Belgium, on the weekend of 15th and 16th February 2003. A group of 5 Italian thieves was behind this heist. They were led by Leonardo Notarbartolo, who was the one who planned the whole robbery. Diamonds, gemstones, gold and other types of jewelry worth over $100 million were stolen from them. They got into the vault containing the diamonds that were guarded by multiple security mechanisms, 10 layers of security to be exact. These comprised with a magnetic field, a seismic sensor, a heat detector, Doppler radar, and a lock with 100 million possible combinations. The mastermind of the theft, Leonardo Notarbartolo, planned it with his gang for about 3 years, residing in a nearby apartment. He assembled a group consisting of experts in lock-picking, maneuvering through alarm systems, and one of the best key forgers in the world. They were successful in completing the theft without getting caught. However, due to some mistakes made when destroying the evidence, 4 of the gang were caught, including Leonardo Notarbartolo. He was found guilty of orchestrating the heist and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was released in 2009 on parole, but again got arrested in 2013. He finished the remainder of his sentence till 2017. What's interesting is, the stolen diamonds were never found. Some speculate he allowed himself to be caught. If there's any truth to that speculation, Leonardo Notarbartolo is a rich man now, and he can't be convicted again for the same crime. The next name in this list comes from the 19th century. Better known as H.H. Holmes, Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, the real name of this master con artist and serial killer was Herman Webster Mudgett. His crimes varied from check forging to murder. Including these, he committed crimes such as swindling, insurance fraud, and horse theft, as well as 3 to 4 bigamous illegal marriages. Despite causing several murders, he was convicted only for the murder of Benjamin PITEZEL, one of Holmes's accomplices and business partners. Among the people he murdered were 3 of PITEZEL's children, 3 of his mistresses, the child of one of his mistresses, as well as a sister of another. According to a book written about Holmes, most of the murders were committed because them getting too much knowledge of his other crimes or loss of trust between him and the victim, or simply because they were on his way. Holmes graduated from the University of Michigan in June 1884 from the Department of Medical and Surgery. One of his mistresses and another girl who allegedly got pregnant by Holmes were claimed by him to have died during an abortion. Despite his degree, Holmes wasn't experienced in abortion procedures. One of his most infamous crimes was claimed to be committed surrounding the murder castle, which allegedly contained torture chambers, gas chambers, trapdoors, as well as a basement crematorium. However, most of these claims are considered to be fabricated by tabloid papers, as no evidence was found. Holmes was finally captured by the private Pinkerton National Detective Agency in November 1894 in Boston. He was convicted for the murder of Benjamin PITEZEL in October 1895, and after that, he confessed to 27 murders in Chicago. But most of them were later found to be false confessions, as they were verified to be still alive by the time of his execution on May 7, 1896. The final criminal mastermind on our list is the man who sold the Eiffel Tower twice, himself, Victor Lustig. He was a skilled con artist from Austria-Hungary, present-day Czech Republic. In the early 20th century, Lustig was involved in many notorious crimes and scams in various parts of Europe and the United States. After leaving his school in France, he began his life as a criminal, utilizing his quick wit and his fluency in several languages. After successfully committing numerous cons and scams, he made himself a name as a professional conman. His first scams were conducted surrounding the services of transatlantic liners between France and New York City. With the beginning of World War I, traveled to the United States. However, Lustig was back in France by 1925. Upon seeing an article about the problems in maintaining the Eiffel Tower, he started working on his world-famous scam. He gathered some scrap metal dealers in a confidential meeting that took place in an expensive hotel and convinced them of a government's wish to sell the Eiffel Tower for scrap, and how the deal was an affair conducted in secrecy without raising a public outcry. Lustig selected the man who would most likely buy the tower upon careful observations, and ANDRÉ POISSON became the first one to fall for a scam with a bribe of around 70,000 francs. After completing the con successfully, he fled to Austria. The second time he tried to conduct the same crime, the police were informed and he fled to the US. Victor Lustig was arrested on May 10, 1935 in New York, charged with counterfeiting after his mistress, Billie Mae, placed an anonymous phone call to authorities. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison and died in March 1947 after contracting pneumonia. Please note that this video was not made to glorify these criminal minds in any way. This is just proof that the brilliance of your intelligence depends on what you use it for, either good or bad. Thank you for engaging with this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Crime Chronicles for more crime content.